Let's talk about event budgeting today. Regardless whether you are a coach or an event planner, event designer, decorator, or even the end user, such as you are the client, and you are listening or watching this episode, I want you to pay close attention because this is the most important thing that you need to understand when you are going to plan an event or hosting an event. Every time I work with a potential client, they always ask me, with this amount of money, that means they share with me their budget, their event budget, how many people can I host? Or they tell me how many people they want to host for the event. And then when they tell me about how much money they want to set aside for this event, I know they would not be able to host that many people. And then they come back and tell me that, okay, I increase the budget. How many people can we accommodate? Can we host? It doesn't work like that. It doesn't mean that if you have less people or if you increase more money, that means you can have more people at your event. So let's break it down. When you are doing an event budget, okay, regardless whether it's for a corporate event, a wedding, or even a small retreat, birthday party, whatever it is, you need to first ask yourself a few questions, and then that is going to help drive how to formulate the event budget. So when I was planning my own wedding, okay, I have an idea how many people I want to host, okay? But the number fluctuates because it depends on how much money do I have left to host the event. I think this is the rule. This is not the rule. This is the common consensus for everyone who's thinking to host a party, okay? They have an idea how many people they want to have at the event, but it all depends on how much money they have left or how much money they can budget for this event. That will determine the final number that they can invite, because there's other factors involved, such as venue fees, food and beverage minimum, or the amount of food and beverage you need to serve or you need to spend, the decor element, such as florals, backdrops, furniture rentals, the audio-visual elements, where if you are doing a conference, you need to have screens, projectors, video streaming, video streaming, etc., etc. Okay, and all these will play a role in the event budgeting, which ultimately leads to the experience that you want to give to your guests, and also how many people that you can host. All right. So let's start with, where should I start when doing an event budgeting? All right. So let's think about the event itself. Okay. What is the nature of the event? What is the ultimate goal of this event? Because that will help determine the must-have and nice-to-have. Okay? What is the ultimate goal of this event? If you are a coach, or you are a corporate event planner, or you're planning a corporate event, the ultimate goal of the event could be you want to introduce a new product, a product launch. You want to do enrollment. Now, a product launch or enrollment will largely require a large amount of people in the room, okay? A big number of people in the room, because you want to expose the new product to the public, or you want to enroll as many people into your program as possible, okay? So this, you know that this is the ultimate goal of the event. You need to have a lot of people. If it is a client appreciation event, if it is a sales retreat, if it's a wedding, a birthday party, then it's not necessarily that you need to have a lot of people in the room. You will want to have the important people in the room, people who's going to make an impact, people who are important to you. From a corporate event standpoint, your salespeople, if it's a sales retreat, that means you only have a small group of people. That means your top performers, probably depending on how large your company size is, could be 10 people all the way to 500 people. Okay, so you're not inviting everybody, you're inviting people, your top salespeople who meet their quota. If you are inviting, if it's a client appreciation event, then you only have your top 100 clients, for instance, all right? Or every salesperson can only invite 5 top clients. So there is a finite number of people. So it's not like you are opening the floodgate to invite everybody. You're only inviting people who is going to have a direct impact to your ROI, okay? If it's a social event or wedding, you are only inviting people who are close friends and family. And then if there's more money, then you can invite your second cousin, your second uncle, or your work colleagues who are not super close to you, but you see them on a daily basis. So these are the things to consider, all right? So you need to ask yourself the very first question, what is the most important thing for you to host this event? Why are you hosting this event? Who is this event for? And what you want to get from it, okay? So in the corporate terms is what is the ROI for inviting these people, okay? From the social terms, what is the emotional satisfaction for the host by inviting these people, and how is it going to affect my relationship with these people, and how are they going to add joy to my event by inviting these people? So once you determine that, you will come down with a number, okay? An approximate number. The next thing you want to consider is, okay, where do I want to host this event and when do I want to host this event? So where you want to host this event will also play a part, because if you are going to host it at a super popular venue, okay, and you're hosting it at a time, around a time frame or dates that are peak season, that's going to affect the event budget, all right? So when you're thinking about the number of people, that will determine the space that you need, right? How much space you need, okay? That's why I say we go with the number of people first. And then that will determine the amount of space you need in order to accommodate all these people, right? And then when you know the amount of space you need, you think about the location, the destination, and then you think about the dates that you want to host these events. When you are considering these factors, just know that super popular destinations like beach resort or a very popular venue, for whatever reason why it's popular, okay, maybe it has a beautiful rooftop, maybe it has got beautiful furnishings, and also the time of the year, the days of the week are important factors to take into consideration, because that will have a direct impact to your event budget, okay? So once you have an idea where you want to have the event, the space must be able to be big enough to accommodate the people that you want, the number of people that you want to serve, right? And when you want to have the event, the date has to be conducive enough where people can actually come, okay? I always advise my corporate clients not to do any events during the holidays, okay? The summer holidays, the winter holidays, that means Thanksgiving, Christmas, and also to avoid doing any events that is a day before a federal holiday or public holiday, or day after the public holiday. So don't plan an event the day before July 4th, or the day after July 4th, or Memorial Day, okay, or President's Day, or anything that you know that families, or even just humans, okay? Not just families. Anyone who want to take a long vacation or a long weekend break for their own personal reasons. And then, you know, if it's a wedding, then it's a different, or a birthday party, a social event, then it could be a little different because they will take that as a vacation, a getaway. But if it's a corporate event that you cannot bring your friends or your family, then you want to avoid doing your event on those a day before, a day after public holidays. Okay, and those dates also affect the rates of the venue as well. So take that into consideration too. Weekdays, weekends also affect the venue for event space that is geared towards corporate events. The weekends, they normally will charge a lower room rental and a food and beverage minimum. But if it's a venue that is super popular on Friday, Saturday, Sunday because of social events, and you want to have your social events on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, then you'll pay a higher fee compared to doing it on a weekday. Okay, so once you determine the number of people, okay, who's coming, the space needed, then you're going to determine the destination, the venue space, and also the time of the year you want to do the event. So these are the anchor, okay, the anchors or the pillars of doing event budget. How many people, the venue, okay, how many people and the venue. So once you know how many people, once you know the venue, those two that you know that you have to incur, which is venue room rental, food and beverage minimum, and how many people you need to feed. So with that in mind, okay, with that in mind, you already have an idea how much you need to budget for the event. Because the rest of the items, like decor, audio-visual production, okay, furniture rental, marketing swags, backdrop, all those, in my opinion, are negotiable items. That means you can cut back a little, or you can make it a little bit more elaborate based on how much money is left after the must-have, which is you need to feed these people and you need to give a roof for these people to host the event. So once you determine these two anchor, the rest becomes negotiable, or you have more flexibility. Now, when you are planning your food and beverage, okay, so now you know your venue, right? You know that this venue, it's a venue that you really want for ABC, XYZ reason, okay? So that means that's not negotiable. You want to have this venue. You want to do it at this venue. There's no wiggle room about this. Now, when it comes to the menu, there could be wiggle room. So you need to feed these people, but not everybody will need to eat foie gras, caviar, lobster, and a filet mignon, right? I have been to parties where the host paid a lot of money for the venue because of the existing sound system, audio-visual system, existing furnishing, the aesthetic look of that venue, but they don't give two hoots about the type of food that they are serving the people. They went really, really low end or very minimal. So you have to ask yourself, like for me, it is a non-negotiable. For my own event, I always make sure that I have the top of the line menu choice. So I always serve in abundance, a lot of food, and also in abundance of variety, okay? Because I take into consideration all the different diet restriction and also the quality of the food, right? So I will allocate a lot more money for the food and beverage component. But some of you, you're more into the aesthetics, so you may allocate more money for the decor, okay? So you have to ask yourself this question when you're budgeting the event. What is important? Do I want to feed these people 3 meals a day when it's a conference, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and also 2 breaks? Or can I just not serve them breakfast and just serve an AM break and then serve them a lunch and don't serve dinner, okay? Dinner on own. So you have to ask yourself, what is important, okay? And by serving them these meals, what is the return on investment for you? If you are a coach, okay, and you are also a corporate company and you are using these meal times to build relationship, to have your salespeople talk to the potential clients, all right, that means it's extremely important that you need to provide meals that they can sit down and eat and build their relationship, the community, and also to talk about your products. So having a sit-down meal, regardless whether it's buffet or plated, is extremely important. That means you have to feed them. You cannot forego the food component, okay? Whereas if the party, it's more about drinking and more about just getting together, all right? Then the food can be more finger food and loaded up on the drinks and not so much on the food. So you have to think through all that. Now, the aesthetic component, okay, for me, it's not a big deal because I like pretty things, but for me, the food is more important than the aesthetic. So I would choose a venue that already has some form of aesthetic. And I'm going to use my own wedding as an example. I chose a venue that has got beautiful tablecloth and beautiful chairs and also beautiful chargers. That means they already have those elements in the at the venue, okay, at the venue included in the room rental fee. For me, I managed to waive the room rental fee because I have a very high food and beverage minimum, which I achieve. So if this venue, for me, in this case, for my own wedding, I chose a venue that has beautiful chairs, beautiful linens, and also beautiful chargers. That saved me money to rent chairs, to rent linens, and also to rent chargers. And I calculate how much would it cost if I were to rent these items myself and get a venue that does not provide all these things, and the cost comparison. If I have to pay a room rental, how much is the room rental versus how much is it going to cost me to rent these items? If the room rental is lower, then it's a no-brainer for me to actually rent the venue that comes with all those things. But if there is no room rental, okay, if there's no room rental and it comes with all those things, even better. But if they have a high room rental, okay, and they don't come with all this, then I know I need to rent all these items because for me it's important to have these items aesthetic looks. Then I may not consider this venue because I'm paying high room rental and I still have to rent these items. So these are the things that you need to consider. Okay, what is important? Food and beverage, aesthetics, room rental. Should I pay room rental, or should I not pay room rental, or pay very little room rental and pay the rental for these items and it still come up to be budget friendly? Okay, so for corporate events, if you're spending audio visual, like big sound, big lights, big stage, what is the ROI on this? Okay, what is the ROI on this when you're making everything so extravagant? Is it going to have an effect or an impact on your attendees, or is it just for ego? Is it going to bring a higher ROI because of all this audio visual production? Okay, decor production, stage production. Because at the end of the day, there are some intricate value that people attach if they are paying to come to your event, okay? For corporate events especially, they are paying a ticket to come to the event. They have certain expectation. And the expectation is not just the food and beverage that they are being served, the environment that they are in, a high-end venue, but also the other things that are not spoken, such as, I said that you always tantalize the 5 senses. One of the senses is sight and sound, okay? They will expect an extravagant stage backdrop and audiovisual production. the last thing you want is for people to pay to come to an event, especially an event that they are here to learn something. So coaches, pay attention, all right? Corporate companies, corporate event planners, pay attention. If the people are paying to come for an educational forum, for a summit, for a retreat, okay, and they're paying good money, you better make sure your audiovisual is tip-top. I have been to events where I pay good money and the audiovisual sucks. I can't see because they use a very low resolution for the LCD projector, or the microphone or the sound system is glitchy. Some of you can probably relate to that when you pay a lot of money to go to a ticket, to a concert, and the sound is going in and out, okay? So these are the things to consider as well. Every time you spend money for an event, on all the different elements of the event, you have to ask yourself, what am I going to get out of this? What are my attendees going to get out of this? If you're charging for this, a ticket for this, will they relate? Can they see the value that they are paying for the ticket? When you're paying for this, that means you're not getting any money from it, okay? So this is your budget, your marketing budget, or you're coming out from your own pocket. It's a social event. What are people going to take away from this event? Are they going to be talking about this event? All right. Till now, I still have people tell me, we're talking about like 11 years later, okay, telling me about how wonderful our wedding was because it's right on the beach. So they came and they're able to connect with people, friends they haven't seen for a long time, family members they haven't seen for a long time. They're able to bring a blanket, go down to the beach, have a bottle of wine, and chit chat and enjoy the breeze. They talk about the food. Okay, they talk about the corners that are set up for the children, where there are lounges that they can just hang out and lay there. They talk about the magician, the entertainment that I hired to entertain the children so that the grown-ups can have fun and party at my wedding, okay? So for me, everything, I plan it to the detail. I ask myself, how would I want people to feel when they come to my wedding? How would I want people to feel when they come to my event, for my corporate event? Would they be talking about my product? Would they be talking about my programs, right? Would they be having this FOMO? Oh my God, if I don't come, I'm going to miss out something, especially if this is a repeat event. They talk about last year. How are we going to top out this, right? They say, oh my God, every year you keep amping up the event. So you have to think about all that when you're planning your event budget, okay? So it's a lot of information to process, all right? It's a lot of information to process in this short 30 minutes or less. But I've given you the pillar. The pillar is what is the most important thing that you want people to take away from your event. What is the goal of having this event? Who do I need to invite to this event in order to achieve the goal of me hosting this event? Okay. And then how many people do I need to invite based on that goal? And then that would determine where you should have this event, when you should have this event, and then we go down to the nitty-gritty about what is important to you. Is it the aesthetic? Is it the food and beverage? All right. And then the food and beverage, the aesthetic, how is that going to yield an ROI? Is it going to align with the end goal of why I want to have this event, the experience that I want people to have for this event? Okay. Event budget is a big topic. And this is what I do best. Every single event that I manage for my client, we try to stay on budget. And if it doesn't stay on budget, there's always a reason why it doesn't stay on budget. Sometimes the client doesn't listen to my advice, so they understand why they didn't stay on budget. And then we try to make out for it. How do we get more money in order to pay for the event? Okay. And it's you as an event planner. Okay, you as an event planner, this skill is extremely, extremely important to develop. You can learn through courses, you can learn through books, but the experience comes from actually planning an event because you're dealing with human emotions. You're dealing with a client who wants everything, okay? But they do not have the money to pay for everything. So you need to manage expectation. You need to manage numbers. You need to negotiate. Okay, you need to negotiate with your vendors so that you can get the most for your buck. All right. So in order to be an excellent event planner who's able to deliver as much as possible for your clients' events vision, you need to understand the numbers. You need to understand what you can negotiate, not to negotiate. You need to understand the questions to ask your client to find out what they really want from the event in order to determine what are the things that you need to spend money on and advise your client to spend money on this, because these are the things that's going to create the experience that align with the end goal of why they want to host the event. Okay? All right, so a lot of information packed into this one session today. As usual, if you have enjoyed what I have chat about in the last 30 minutes or in my podcast or in my YouTube, make sure you subscribe, follow, and share. And don't forget to leave me a rating or a review so I know what else you want me to talk about. If you're craving for more information or you're craving for more of me, my content, make sure you go to the show notes and follow me on my platforms. If you love to listen, follow me on my podcast. If you love to read, okay, we have a book, The Unstoppable Eventrepreneur, Eventrepreneur. You can find it on Amazon. If you love to watch, you can go to my YouTube channel. You can go to my IG, my TikTok, and also my Facebook to watch these videos. I appreciate all of you for your time, giving me your time, energy, and attention to listen to my content. And I will speak to you again next week.